The old lady had already passed away, but her robot didn't know and thought she was just out of battery. So, it went to the room and brought back a lot of machine oil, stuffing it all into the old lady's pockets. But she still didn't open her eyes. It was then that the robot realized its owner had already passed away. Originally, the old lady lived alone. Since her children didn't have time to visit, they had sent her a robot instead. The next second, the robot's eyes opened, and the old lady's face appeared before him. This was the first human he had ever seen. From that day on, the lonely old woman had company and a little helper to do the chores. Although the robot couldn't speak, he took care of all the household work and even kept her company watching the beautiful sunsets. When the old lady fell asleep while watching TV, the robot would thoughtfully cover her with a blanket. At night, when the old lady woke up from her sleep, she turned and saw the robot seriously watching TV, where a circus was performing. The two of them then started eating, but the robot got machine oil all over his mouth. However, the old lady didn't scold him. Instead, she patiently wiped his mouth clean. But just then, the robot slowly lowered his head. He needed a new oil change. The old lady quickly grabbed a bottle of fresh fuel, opened the switch on his chest, and filled him up with the new oil. Soon, the robot's eyes opened once again. One day, the old lady returned home, and the robot hurried to greet her. Because of her age, she hadn't walked far before sitting down, constantly coughing. She took the water from him and pulled out a gift. It was the latest model of machine oil. Seeing the robot's happy expression, she felt very satisfied. Soon, it was time for the next shopping day. The robot reminded her to go out, but the old lady pulled out 2 tickets to the circus. She knew that the robot loved the circus, so today, instead of buying anything, she would take him to see the show. However, unexpectedly, while she went to the room to grab a straw hat, the old lady passed away in her lounge chair. Seeing his deceased owner, the robot was deeply saddened. Unfortunately, he couldn't cry. He could only stay by her side, watching the sunset one last time. It was unclear how much time had passed, but the robot continued taking care of the house for the old lady. As time went on, the oil in his body began to run out, and he slowly closed his eyes. At the last moment, it seemed as though he came back to life. Looking up, the old lady appeared before him once more. The robot was overjoyed and took out the 2 circus tickets. Then, in a flash of light, the old lady held his hand, and together, they walked into another world.